What makes a video game fun? There are hundreds of different answers to that question. Maybe you like solving puzzles. Maybe you like destroying people in Call of Duty or Overwatch. Maybe you're one of those sick fucks that likes MOBAs. I know I, for one, have tons of different answers to that question. I don't tend to stick to just one genre or style of video game because I am a connoisseur, a sommelier of video games, if you will. I asked some of my friends to get their input, and I got answers like uniqueness, or the ability to do whatever you want and really experiment with the world. My friend Kyler had this to say, and I gotta say, that's really thought-provoking. But when I think about my personal favorite games, the thing that they all have in common is that I really sucked at them when I first started playing in them, and that I got better over time, like the big strong gamer boy that I am. Dark Souls 3, Monster Hunter World, Dead Cells, even a game like Death Stranding. One of the biggest compliments I gave to it is that you do need to get better at it to really progress in the game. And that's exactly what all of these games have in common. In order to progress, you do have to, and I'm gonna say it, get good. The game might offer you certain little buffers, like, oh, you can have better weapons that do more damage, or you can wear better armor that protects you from damage more, but ultimately, they're not going to help you that much if you still can't avoid Nergigante's big bomba blast. Before you can move forward in the game, you have to look inside yourself. You gotta draw the fucking line in the sand, dude. You gotta say, what am I willing to put up with today? Not fucking this! It's not something like World of Warcraft or a lot of JRPGs where it's more about, oh hey, I'm not high enough level to be in this area. This monster is stronger than me, therefore I lose because it has more numbers than I have. Instead, it's more about pushing you against a wall and saying, get good or get out. Before Monster Hunter World had even come out, they ran a beta for a short while where you could fight some of the monsters to try out the weapons and just see how everything felt. And so I played that with my friend Sean, and we ran into our first wall with that game. Even though now I'm a master first-class charge blade, back then I didn't really know what I was doing. And Anjanath really gave us a hard time back in those days, and he's watching, and he's gonna leave a comment that says Anjanath was really giving us a hard time in those days, and you're gonna look in the comment and you're gonna give it a like because I called it, and if he doesn't put it in the comments, boy oh boy is that gonna be embarrassing. So listen here, you little baby man, put it in the comments and I'll pin it, okay? At first we kept dying a lot because we sucked and we were little baby boys, and then we started running out of time constantly because you only had 20 minutes to hunt Anjanath during the beta, and you didn't really have a choice to upgrade your equipment or your armor. You were stuck with what you had, so your only option was to get better. We hunted it and lost so many times that I think we started to go a little bit crazy because we started to pretend that Anjanath was related to us and was specifically my daughter, and that I was a bad parent, as if that could ever be true. I did my best, god damn it!
No man's gonna marry you if you act like this, Angie.
No man's gonna marry you if you never learn how to treat your family right. No daughter of mine would ever act this way. I raised you better.
Oh, I don't know if that's how you should talk to your daughter.
You don't tell me how to raise my child.
You're right, I don't. But you don't tell me how to pick my husbands, okay?
But when we did finally overcome that wall, we were so much more familiar with the game and with the monster and with the weapons. We were moving closer to a mastery over the game. Now certainly, this doesn't mean that every other monster down the line fell to their knees and gave us a throne as their new monster kings. It wasn't anything like that. We definitely had many more struggles down the line facing us, but we were better equipped to handle those struggles because we overcame this first wall. And the walls we had run into earlier and the monsters who were harder to us before now became easier by extension because we dealt with something much tougher. And it's an exhilarating feeling to finally, after so much effort, overcome all the odds and win it. I'm glad that I've been making the YouTube videos for so long because I can just show you directly how amazing it feels to me to overcome those odds.
Oh, splash flurry. Be ready.
Ready? I'm super ready. So ready.
Oh, god damn it. Yes,
nope, it's
down.
Enough. It's enough. We're good. Come on, baby. Serious mode. Super amped elemental discharge!
Yes!
Yes!
Yes! My shield is still charged. Super amped elemental discharge. Kill it! Yes! 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 Woo! Yeah! No, don't grab. Fuck. No. I haven't seen that attack. He's trying to grab me. He's really trying to grab me. He's got like 1 hit left. This is the one. Yes! Yes! I did it! Yes! Soul of Cinder! Suck my cocky balls! I beat you! I'm stronger than you!
Games like Monster Hunter and Dark Souls are, to me, the epitome of the idea that death only makes you stronger. Because realistically speaking, death has no consequences in those games. Certainly in Dark Souls, you might lose all of your souls if you do die, and boy, that's a mean son of a bitch of a consequence. But it still doesn't stop you from getting back up and trying again. I think Dwight from The Office, weirdly enough, puts what I'm saying into words best.
When I die, I want to be frozen. And if they have to freeze me in pieces, so be it. I will wake up stronger than ever because I will have used that time to figure out exactly why I died and what moves I could have used to defend myself better now that I know what hold he had me in.
With every death, you come back knowing what you died from. With every death, you better understand how you can avoid that death. And maybe, one of the times, the thing that killed you won't kill you again. When I fought the Nameless King in Dark Souls 3, I had the damnedest time avoiding his freaking lightning strike attack. I got hit by that attack over and over and over again. I couldn't figure out how to avoid it. But then, I did. Then I did it again and again. And I still got hit every now and then, but I was starting to get better at avoiding it. Until this move that was a major problem for me during my fights before became not an issue at all, and actually a really good chance to counterattack because I fully understand how to avoid it, so I could stick close to him, wait for it to happen, and then go in for an attack. I had mastered how to avoid the Nameless King's lightning strike. I don't know if that's its technical name. You fucking Dark Souls nerds, don't fucking come on here. Actually, it's called Divine Retribution Mega Blast. Fuck off, it's a lightning blast. Another thing that these games have in common is what I like to call surface level simplicity. Basically, whenever you look at the game as an outsider, you're still able to kind of understand and figure out what's going on because the game is not that complex when you're first looking at it. I mean, think about it. Dark Souls is literally dodge and attack. That's all it is. Dodge and attack. You dodge and then you attack over and over and over until you win the game. But the beautiful thing is the complexity and little nuances of gameplay that hide underneath that surface level simplicity. Early on in Dark Souls, it might be enough for you to physically roll away from an attack to avoid it. But as you progress and as the enemies become more brutal and more vicious and really just crowd in on your personal space, you're gonna learn that trying to physically avoid an attack is not enough. But you'll also quickly realize that when you roll, you have invincibility, where even if an attack touches you, it won't do damage to you. And then you learn that you can dodge into an attack rather than avoiding it completely. And then you start to pick up on, oh, if an attack is about to hit me and I roll towards the enemy, then I can counterattack much faster than rolling away and then coming back in for a little smooch. The fact that you can roll is the simple aspect. The fact that you can roll and avoid attacks to get in close is the more complex aspect that is hidden until you yourself are playing the game. Monster Hunter is like this too. There are 14 different weapons in the game, and each of them hides little secrets beyond what you can see just by looking at someone else using it. Okay, deep breaths. I can do this. When you first pick up a charged blade, you'll learn that you can attack, you can block, and you can transition into an axe to do major damage. You'll also learn that when you do attack with the sword, you'll build up energy. And it's like, what do I do with this energy? Well, you can charge that into files. What do you use those files for? Well, if you transition into axe mode, you can release elemental attacks that do a lot of damage. That's pretty cool. Maybe you can do a big attack like an amped elemental discharge that does major damage. But wait a second, there's more to it than that. Right before you hit your discharge, you can also charge your files directly into your shield to have a charged shield. What does a charged shield do? When you block, you'll do damage, and you have a shield jab that'll do elemental and impact damage while your shield is charged. But wait, I've built up energy again, and my shield's already charged. What do I do with it now? Okay, charge it into files, but wait, don't move a muscle. Hold on a second. Press and hold triangle, okay? Okay? Just do it, all right? Trust me. Your shield will go and then it'll clack together. You release the button, then boom, you've got a charged sword, bucko. A charged sword will release impact or elemental damage when you attack with it and do extra damage, and it's pretty freaking cool. But you can only charge your sword while your shield is charged. But uh-oh, now I've got a charged shield, a charged sword, full files, and full energy. What do I do now? Don't let anybody tell you I told you this. This is a trade secret. But there's another way to use those files. Go to do a super amped elemental discharge, but before you do that, press L2 and you'll go into power axe mode. And instead of using up files one by one, it'll use up files like fuel over time. And it will make the top of your axe spin so that it does damage like a goddamn circular saw. And it's really, really cool. But remember, it will use those files as fuel, so if you use a super amped element to discharge while you're in Power Axe mode will end. Bye-bye, see you next time. And I haven't even talked about blocking yet. You can block as kind of a last resort before you take damage, and you might be thinking, why wouldn't you just block every time? Well, blocking will degrade your weapon's sharpness, and will also possibly do a little bit of damage to you because it can't block all of the damage. So ultimately, it's better to roll, but blocking is faster if you're in a bit of a dire circumstance. Did you get all that? I swear my car's operating manual is less complex than learning how to use a frickin' charge blade. But you have to remember that the charge blade started off simple. Attack, block, or transition in axe mode. Anybody can start off with a charge blade, but it takes a lot of time to truly master it. And it's not so much knowing that you can do those things that will make you a better hunter, it's knowing the timing to do those things. When is it the best time to charge your sword? Because it does take time. When is it the best time to enter power axe mode? Because a lot of monsters are a lot faster and it's hard to hit them when you use it. And so if you want to improve at the game, you have to focus in on those little things and those little details and become better at using the weapon to advance. That surface level simplicity means that after every single attack, you're making a dozen of small decisions all in the span of like a quarter second. Do you want to attack? Do you want to block? Do you want to roll? Do you want to transition into axe mode? Do you want to charge your files? Do you want to charge your sword? Do you want to go into power axe mode? All these things will go through your head in the span of like no time at all. And it sounds like a lot, but your brain will become accustomed to it as you master the charge blade. It makes it so that when you are pushed up against a wall and you cannot seem to get over it, you are forced to improve and forced to better understand the game or the weapon you're using. This was one of the keys for me when it came to fighting Anjanath. Because all of those little things, shield charging, sword charging, they were very important towards maximizing my damage output so that the time limit we were up against, that 20 minutes I mentioned earlier, didn't end up affecting us and we could beat it in enough time. And this is what I mean by mastery over the game. By the time you do beat the game and by the time you do overcome all these walls, you will be leaps and bounds better at it than when you first started. It's not about, oh, I've got the best armor and the best armor. Both of them. It means that when you do go back to the beginning of the game, you'll be able to break through those walls much faster than you could the first time. When I was first learning the charge blade, I would accidentally charge my shield all the time and I couldn't figure out how to do it intentionally. Nowadays, not only can I do that with my freaking eyes closed, I've also mastered 5 other weapons and I have a very good understanding of the other ones. Similarly, it took me over a year of on and off playing to finally beat Dark Souls 3. I ran into so many walls and I had to overcome so many challenges. But now, I managed to beat it 2 other times, and each time faster than the last. And that amount of mastery comes with a level of pride, where you start to feel like a veteran player who truly understands the ins and outs of the game and can really teach a brand new generation how to hunt monsters or how to get through Dark Souls. I think it's oddly conducive to a rather wholesome community. If you think about Dark Souls, where anytime you're doing PvP with a player, people are friendly and they'll gesture towards each other. Or if you show someone, oh, I'm out of Estus, maybe they'll drink all of their Estus so that they don't have any either. That kind of stuff happens all the time and it's awesome. It also means that when someone who's more experienced in the game sees someone who's really struggling with it, they might offer tips and tricks that help them to overcome their own walls. And I think that's really special. It's one of the few styles of games where I feel like it's acceptable to look at walkthroughs or get tips and tricks from other players, because there is so much to learn that you might not know, that because someone else has run through the game 100+ times, they fully understand it and can tell you little things about it without fully spoiling the game that'll give you tips and tricks about it. It feels good to impart that knowledge that you've gained after so much experience. And that's just one of the many perks that comes with that level of mastery. I think that one of the really cool things about it is that when you do really fully understand a game, the gameplay becomes much more deep as you're able to experience it in new and interesting ways. It becomes incredibly rewarding to get to replay through those areas that you really got stuck on before and just breeze through them. For me, I got stuck in Irithyll for the longest time when I first played Dark Souls 3. I mean, I would try to get through it, and then I wouldn't play for months, and then I'd try to get through it again, and I still couldn't. But on my most recent playthrough, I had to stop at the first bonfire once. I didn't die at all between the next one. And boy, how did it feel good! And if you're a bit of a masochist, you might want to introduce certain self-imposed challenges so that you can kind of experience that difficulty in its own right again. When Monster Hunter World came out, it came out on the PS4 first, and then PC 6 to 8 months later, because Capcom makes me want to cry. Being a big PC gamer, I of course bought both versions, but I played the crap out of PS4 version first, so I had more than mastered it and my weapon by the time I got it on PC. So I decided to make it more interesting. I would not wear armor until I reached high rank, and I would use a weapon I'd never touched before. And so it was nude little me with my little bow against the world when I played through Monster Hunter again. And those live streams had to be rated R because it was really fucking sick. So think back to how much I struggled with Anjanath when I first fought it. And here I was a couple months later, buck naked, carrying around a bow, whooping its ass. That felt really good. My gamer body was all about that. It was really fucking sick. I've mostly talked about harder games today, but a game like Breath of the Wild also has this kind of thing, where the expectation is that you will go from the tutorial platform and then you'll go around to all the divine beasts, beat everything in order, and then go to the castle last. But in a recent playthrough Breath of the Wild, I decided, fuck that, and I ran straight for the castle. If you haven't played Breath of the Wild, then the castle is full of really tough enemies and really high tier loot. I just realized that a lot of my self-imposed challenges involve a lot of nudity. Maybe that's something I need to talk to somebody about, but that's not the point right now. Picture buck-ass nude Link running through the castle, picking up high-tier loot and beating up baddies, even though I had basically no health to fight them on, because I knew how to fight them from my experience previously. The only small gripe I have is that I do wish games like these would fully commit to that idea of mastery, rather than occasionally throwing that bullshit factor at you. I'm a big fan of those tough as hell one-on-one fights where the enemy is just absolutely brutal and does not give you room to breathe, and you have to, in the moment, just constantly try to figure out, wait, what the fuck? How do I avoid this? What am I doing wrong? Why am I in a poopy diaper? But sometimes the game will instead decide, hey, instead of like 1 or 2 really tough enemies, we're gonna send like 10 really weak enemies at you, and they'll just like stun lock you because you won't have room to attack because one of them will always be attacking. Have fun, dude. I'm also not a big fan of when in Dark Souls 3 they put the bosses really far away from bonfires. It's usually not a big deal because you can just run past enemies, and 9 times out of 10 it goes great, but then there's that 1 out of 10 time where it looks like this instead. No! I had to eat a bowl of ice cream after that one. Even if it isn't hard to get to the boss from the bonfire, it's still really frustrating to have to run that far and wait that long between attempts. It makes it feel like the game is testing your ability to put up with its bullshit rather than your ability to fight off the boss. Sometimes it'll throw an easy but lengthy first phase at you for a boss, which is really, really frustrating. I've talked a lot about the Nameless King fight today, and that's because I absolutely love the Nameless King boss fight. I'm not particularly a huge fan of the King of the Storms fight. Anybody who's done that also knows that there's a second bit of bullshit on top of that, where you're fighting with the camera more than you're fighting with the boss in that, because it'll keep unlocking and you don't know where the attacks are coming from because you can't see jack shit. But when you do master that part of the fight, you can get through it without taking any damage, and then you'll just get wasted by the Nameless King within like 2 minutes, and it's really frustrating because that first part of the fight takes so much longer and is so much less fun than the one-on-one fight you get to have later. If they could tighten down on those more annoying parts that are less about mastery and more about dealing with bull hockey, these games would be even better than they already are. But that's a pretty small complaint because I obviously love them anyway. I like to feel like I have gotten better at a game. I like to look back at my previous abilities and say, man, I fucking sucked. It's one of the fundamental things that makes those games fun to me, and I absolutely love it. I like being able to master a game and get better at it over time. Thank you for watching another gaming video. Welcome to my new set, by the way. I don't know if I'll keep doing this. I thought it was cooler than the blank background that the couch gave me. Now you can see all my fucking nerdy models. Do you like them? Thank you for wasting your time with my dumb video today. And if you like wasting time and you like these styles of games, then I have great news for you. The very same day that this video comes out, I'm going to be starting up a series of live streams where I play through every From Software game and try to keep my sanity as much as humanly possible. And I have only managed to fully beat Dark Souls 3, so it's gonna be a tough journey. I hope you'll come and stop by twitch.tv/capmack_. And if you're watching this video in the year 2060, where there's at least a small possibility I'm still playing through those games, head on over to my second channel called Mack's Memories, where you can check out the archived versions of those streams. But anyway, thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. I love you. You want a kiss? I'll give you a kiss. Love you. No homo.